everybody, I'm Tiffany, and today I am bringing you another book review. That's right, I finished another book. Whoop-ha! Actually, I finished a lot of books in this series. For those of you who know the series and have seen the title, you're probably thinking, well, Tiffany, you have these other ones, but then there's a couple books you're missing. Well, I am happy to say I have actually read those books. I'm not one who jumps around in books because, well, then the books wouldn't make sense, now would they? But unfortunately, this was during crazy school time, and I didn't have time to record any videos for them. So I am really sorry, and I feel ashamed, but there are a couple books missing video review-wise. But I'm definitely reviewing this book, and I'm going to be reviewing any other books left in the series, and I promise, this is a promise on camera, I will not miss another book review. I swear it. So I am really sorry about that. This is a really great series. There is no really good reason why I skipped the reviews for the other books, except that I was super busy and I didn't have time to record. Now the book I am reviewing today, if you haven't read the title already, is Clockwork Prince, which is the second book in the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare. Now the reason I count this as one giant series is because the way that Cassandra Clare's books work is that she has a whole bunch of different series that all take place in the same universe, maybe at different timelines, maybe all at the same time. I'm not sure. I haven't read all of them. So that's why I kind of count it as one whole series because it's one giant universe that she has created. Now, the first series that she did was the Mortal Instruments series, and I have reviews for the first 3 books in that series. I'll leave a link to them in the description for you guys, so go check them out if you haven't. I have read the 4th book. I missed the review for it. I'm sorry. And I am currently on the 5th one of that series, which will be the next book review after this one. Then we have the Infernal Devices series, which actually takes place before the Mortal Instruments, but the Mortal Instruments came out first. Now, I have read Clockwork Angel, which is the first book in this series, and is great, by the way. I absolutely recommend it. And Clockwork Prince is the second book in that series. My suggestion with these books is to actually read them in publishing order, because the way Cassandra Clare did it was she intertwined Infernal Devices and the Mortal Instruments series, and they kind of spoil each other if you don't read it in publishing order and if you just read one series completely through and then read the other series. It doesn't really matter, it's really up to you, but I think the best way to read the books is the publishing order because that's how the author intended it to be read. With any book series, I always think it's fun to go by the publishing order, just because then if you were behind on the books, you feel how the fandom did when each book came out. If you want chronological order though, Infernal Devices comes first and then the Mortal Instruments series. As for my outfit, there is no correlation with it. I came from an audition from recording this, so I really didn't have time to change and I just felt like jumping right into this. So I am sorry there is no outfit correlation, but I'm determined to find a really awesome outfit for the last book in this series. For those of you who want statistics, this book has a 4.45 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Did you hear me? A 4.45. That is almost 5 stars. It definitely deserves this rating. I personally gave it a 5-star rating. I think it's absolutely incredible. The first book in this series was great. This one was even better. This one captivated me so much more, I could not put the book down. And I didn't think that was going to be able to happen because the first book is pretty dang good. If you haven't read this series, I so highly recommend it, even if you don't read the Mortal Instruments series. This is a trilogy, so it's less time consuming, I guess, than the Mortal Instruments one. This one is just so good. I love it so much. For those of you who want a synopsis, the Infernal Devices is the Shadowhunt world in London in the 1800s, following Tessa Gray, your main character, Will Herondale, and Jem Carstairs. I don't know if I pronounced that right, I'm sorry. Your main story follows Tessa Gray. She comes to London looking for her brother because her brother sent her a note saying how wonderful London is, and stuff goes very much awry. That is really all I'm going to tell you plot-wise because you should just read the books and jump right in and see what the heck happens. But it is a fantasy. It has a whole bunch of different magical creatures that you see throughout all other types of books. It has pretty much all of them in this series. And on top of that, they're British. Well, Tessa Gray's American. but they're British. They speak with an accent, which is amazing because I love a British accent and I love British actors in all honesty. So that was really fun to try and envision in my head who in the world would be these characters and have this amazing British accent with it. This is a really, really, really great series. It's fantasy. It has a really good love story in it as well. Of course there's romance. Come on, guys. Almost any book is going to have a little bit of romance in it. The characters are super well developed in it. There's laughter and pain and heartbreak and anger and joy, just every emotion it sends you through. It's absolutely incredible. I like this series better than the Mortal Instruments series in all honesty. Number one, if you've watched my other videos, you know I don't really like the main character in the Mortal Instruments series. I love the main character in this book. She kicks butt. That is really all I can tell you though without spoiling you willy-nilly, because this is the second book in a series, so I can't really say much because then I would spoil the first book and then that ruins your reading experience, because you should just go and read this series. So go and read it and then come back and we can discuss all of the wonderful feels together and you can tell me what you thought of this book yourself. Bye non-spoiler people, get your British accent on and go read the Infernal Devices series. Bye, I shall see you soon. Cheerio! Is cheerio goodbye or hello? I don't know. This love story is absolutely amazing. You have Will and you have Jem. And this is the first time in a really long time that there isn't one that I absolutely love over the other. What happens in most love triangles in any book or movie is that there's one character that you tend to lean more towards than the other. But in this one, I'm just torn between the two. I'm with Tessa. I don't know what the heck to do because Will is Will. Imagining that beautiful specimen with a British accent is pretty incredible. But I gotta say, I was imagining Ian Somerhalder, so the British accent didn't really work. But still, Will. And then you have Jem, who is the nicest person on the planet, also with a British accent, and adorable, and you just want to give him a hug, and he makes you smile every time he's there, and your heart just melts, and you feel a little bit bad for him because he's dying. You just don't know what to do, because both of them are incredible. Tessa has a pretty good in her love triangle, I must say. I know she's struggling, but girl, you have two pretty awesome guys after you, so shush, alright? I wish I had that. At the end of the last book, you find out that something's going on with Will. He says something really insulting to Tessa, which was not cool. And then he's acting all mysterious. He goes to Magnus for help, and you're not really sure what the heck is going on with him. And you're trying to figure it out. You know he really likes Tessa, and that was an element that was frustrating until you figure out exactly what's going on with him. You see Tessa being cold towards him, and you're just going, Tessa, no! He loves you! He just won't admit he loves you! You get frustrated at Will because you're kind of just saying, drop it, I don't care what consequence it has, just be nice to her, please. And then you find out what's going on with him, which is apparently he thinks he has a curse on him where anybody that loves him will die. Now I gotta say, when you find this out with Magnus, I was a tiny little bit let down. I did not think, as soon as he said that this curse was true, in all honesty, because it made no sense. Charlotte, Jem, Tessa, Henry, all of them love him in their own way. When Will is telling Magnus this, I'm just sitting there reading this book going, this can't be true. And I happen to be right. So for me, all the mystery that was built up around this curse that Will had led to a little bit of a letdown. But at the same time, the heartbreak that you figure out later on in the story, that made up for it in a way. Not that I want Will to be heartbroken ever because he's beautiful. The emotional impact of what it meant that he believed this for so long really came through and shined in this book. Cassandra Clare did a fantastic job with all of the character development. That moment when Will realizes that this curse wasn't true, he could have stayed with his family. He left them for the Shadowhunter world. He can never see them again. He pushed so many people away because he believed this, and now he's broken. He doesn't know what to do. He's lived his whole life basically thinking that no one could ever love him, only allowing Jem because Jem already is dying, and now all of a sudden he has to start from zero. He has to finally show his true self and know it's okay for people to love him. That's insane. That was crazy emotional. You just feel it. And I felt anxiety when he walked away from Magnus because you can just kind of tell things are not going to go his way. I think Will's character development overall in this book was my favorite character development. Everybody's was super, super well developed though too. Jasmine pissed me off. I was so mad at that girl. Are you serious? Are you serious with Nathan Gray? Nathan Gray was the most irritating character on the planet. I wasn't even that sad when he died. I felt for Tessa because someone in your family dies. That is very hurtful. I understand that. But dude, he was annoying. I was just reading this thinking, Jessamine, are you serious? Are you this blind by the fact that you want this perfect life? That you don't see that he doesn't love you? I was so mad. Because she almost ruined everything for them. Absolutely everything. Next to Nathan, she is my most frustrating character. I am very interested, though, to see what the heck happens to her in the next book. That is the difference between those two characters. Is Nathan, I did not care for whatsoever. I wanted just him gone. Jessamine, despite everything she's done, she's broken too. And I really want to see what in the world happens to her in the next book, because she's either going to deteriorate more or she's going to build herself back up and become something awesome. I really hope it's the second one, because I think she does have potential to be wonderful. She just sucks right now. Charlotte and Henry were absolutely adorable. I'm so glad they finally had the conversation and figured out that they loved each other. You could tell that was plaguing Charlotte so much. You feel for Charlotte in the first book because Henry doesn't show a lot of affection. He really doesn't. Her belief that he married her just to pay a debt to her family makes sense in a way. But you can tell as the reader that there's more to it than that. And to have Henry profess his love like that, that was so adorable and cute, and I was just melting and just going when I was sitting there reading it. I was just thinking, man, relationship goals in London in the 1800s. It was perfect. It was beautiful. The newest relationship that did develop was Sophie and Gideon. I didn't know what to think of the Lightwoods at first because their dad pisses me off. Order of annoyance for people for me was Nathan, then Jessamine because she's stupid, and then Benedict Lightwood because he's just a jerk. And he ruined his kids' lives, basically. That's basically what he did that you find out in this book. He's an awful human being. I didn't know what to think of his sons. You got introduced to Gabriel, and he's very loyal to his father, but you didn't really know Gideon and how he was going to be. And I really, really liked him. I like his relationship with Sophie. I thought they did a really good job of making you guess, though, throughout the book whether he was actually on their side or not. As much as he likes Sophie, you already have the betrayal of Jessamine, who's supposed to be a good person, and this is Gideon Lightwood, who's related to a person that is definitely a villain in this book. You kind of guess throughout the whole book if he's playing her, if he's not, if he's actually genuinely on their side or not. And to find out at the end that he really is, it's really, really awesome. I hope he doesn't betray them, because I'm going to be seriously hurt if Gideon turns his back on Sophie, because Sophie deserves happiness. I didn't like how Sophie reacted to Tessa trying to warn her, because she kind of did the same thing with Will, but I also understand. Tessa's warning to me was completely valid. Not that she should necessarily be the one to do that, because let's face it, Tessa has her own relationship issues that she can't handle. I thought the warning was good, because at the end of the day, he is related to someone that is trying to take them down. And the last thing you want is for Sophie to get hurt. Gabriel Lightwood is one of the most interesting characters to me. I love the characters that maybe aren't 100% good, but you feel bad for them. You have sympathy for them. Gabriel is one of those characters because right now he is on the bad side with Benedict Lightwood. Even though Benedict is supporting Charlotte now, it's a forced support. Benedict ruined Gabriel's life. His mom committed suicide, but because she had demon pox from their dad. And his dad lied to him about the whole thing and said that it was because of Charlotte Bramwell's family. So Gabriel is one of those characters I do really feel for, despite him being irritating and Will getting under his skin, and that's really funny, by the way. You just feel for him because at the end of the day, he loves his family. That's the basis under all of it. And he wants to make his family proud. For him, family above the law, which that's truly understandable in all honesty. You feel bad because his dad is such an awful human being, and you really hope he's going to go with Gideon. I think Gabriel's going to have a turnaround, and eventually he is going to end up helping them. Maybe him and Will even get along. Ha! Maybe. The path he's on right now is similar to Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter, if you've read and watched the movies. It's similar to that, where I don't know if he'll go completely good, but he has moments where he's not all bad, and you realize that, and you sympathize with that. I just want to say real quick that I love Will's and Tessa's thing with books. I am jealous of that because I would love that, to have a person who leaves a book on my doorstep and says, read this, and us talk about books nonstop, and oh my gosh, that is amazing. I love that part of their relationship. Even if Tessa kind of scoffs it off because she's mad at him, that is adorable. I love it. let's get to the most dramatic part of the book, which is after Tessa is saved and they end up blackmailing Benedict Lightwood and they go back. Will is super duper excited because he wants to tell Tessa that he loves her because he now knows the curse isn't real. But Tessa is engaged to Jem, and I don't know how to feel about this. I love Jem, and Jem deserves happiness, and he deserves to have Tessa love him so much. When Will goes in and tells her that, and you see how excited he is and he kisses her, my heart just broke, because Will deserves the happiness too. After all he's been through, both of them deserve it. There needs to be 2 Tessas in the world so they can just both have a Tessa each. It was so heartbreaking that I felt within myself. I didn't cry, but oh my gosh, I felt devastated like her. This is what she has been wanting since the first book, basically. Even though he insulted her at the end, she still wanted him to turn around and say that. And to finally hear him say it and realize that she can't act on that because she's dedicated to Jem now, that just hurts. And she tries to convince herself that she's in love with Jem. I think she's in love with Jem in a different way than she is with Will. I don't know what's gonna happen, and it's terrifying me. I don't want Jem's heart to be broken because he's doing better with Tessa, but I don't think Tessa completely loves him the way that she should, and I don't know if her being with him is actually gonna make things better or worse. I think at the end of the day she's gonna end up with Will just because this book was so focused on Jem and Tessa's relationship. And usually the way books go is if you focus on one aspect in one book, then it's going to switch to the other in the next book. And that's the ending. Either that or Jem's going to die. I don't know what's going to happen, guys, and it's terrifying me. You don't want Jem to die. But you're wondering, is that the only way she's going to be with Will? But I don't know if I want her with Will or if I want her with Jem. This is confusedness. You're so into Tessa's point of view in this whole thing because every time Jem smiles and looks at her, you just feel the little twinge of guilt because she's thinking about Will too. She's not just thinking about Jem. And to have Will go in there and almost ask Jem to give her up and then seeing his expression and realizing that Jem's gonna be so happy with Tessa, that's what makes it tough too, is that Jem and Will are really good friends. Usually they're kind of at odds with each other, the 2 love interests. The fact that Jem and Will are so close to each other like this, and they're fighting over the same girl, it's nerve-wracking. That's the whole thing. This whole love story is nerve-wracking because it's barely staying afloat. You would have laughed because I was so paranoid throughout this book that when he came in and proposed to her, I thought for 2 seconds this was Mortmain or something playing a trick on her so that he could marry her and then she thinks she's marrying Jem. That would be a twist and a half, I'm just saying. Why'd you have to make 2 perfect guys in this book, man? Cassandra Clare, I applaud you. You did a great job on the character development. You know what? Tessa Gray's a lucky girl to have this type of love triangle. Not the events that surround this love triangle, but to have these 2 awesome guys that are fictional and British coming after you, I think that's every girl's fantasy. I'm excited to see what happens with Charlotte. She's pregnant now, so that's going to be interesting because Charlotte is a really good defender and really strong, and now she's going to be kind of out of commission. We need to protect Charlotte too. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that. Charlotte's in danger with a baby now. Nobody has really, except for Nathan, died, but I feel like someone's going to die. Something's got to happen to resolve this love triangle, to resolve everything, and the direction it feels, it's not going to be your perfect happy ending. That is really all I have to say about this book. This series so far is absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to read the finale. Like I said, I am actually on the 5th book of the Mortal Instruments series because that's next in the publishing order. So that one will be next before the finale of the Infernal Devices. But after that one, it should be Clockwork Princess, I'm pretty sure. Thank you for joining me today. For some reason, if you stayed through the spoilers and still haven't read this book, you should still read it because, like I always say, it's one thing me telling you about it, it's a whole other thing experiencing and going through the emotions that this book makes you go through. If you have any other book or maybe suggestions, you can leave them in the comments below. I write all of them down and make sure to get to them eventually. If you want updates on when I'm posting videos or in my acting life even, you can go to my blog. There's a link in the description below, and there should be a link like right at the bottom here where I'm kind of pointing. That's where I keep all my updated info. I don't really do update videos. The blog is really where I focus on doing my updates. So make sure you go check that out if you really want to keep up to date on everything that's going on video-wise and acting-wise in my life. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon. afternoon, whatever time of the day you're watching this, and go grab a cup of tea and read this book. Alright, have a wonderful day. Goodbye! Whoa!